You on to good morning, Jonathan. Hello, Josh.
Hello,
Welcome to the
everybody.
program.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good
Thanks.
morning.
Good to be back.
Hey guys.
How are you, George?
Yeah, I'm doing well. You're in Sebring, Jonathan, having some
I
fun with some historic cars. What's
yeah,
going on over there?
yeah, I remember last year, if I recall, with you, same exact time frame. I was in this exact same racing trailer here at Sebring for the historic sports car racing weekend, the
Yeah,
12-hour weekend. So yeah, we're
yeah,
here again. We're finishing our 2024 season with our Mazda Heritage Collection program. What a great place to finish for the season here with tons of beautiful historic cars. But bias on my end with the three prized possessions that we have out on the racetrack this weekend with our 1989 767B, our 91 RX-7 GTO, and our 92 792P, which very rarely shows its face. So it's been great to have that out with us, and it's such a beauty in and of
yeah.
itself. So it's been exciting
Playing
so far.
some rotary music out there for everybody having their morning cup of coffee
Some
in Sebring, right?
some four rotary chords. That is right, George.
Right on.
Yep.
And hey, Josh, welcome. Where do we find you this morning?
I'm at the home office for myself, so just keeping the ship steady here, so to speak. So
Yeah. Somebody's got to do the hard work, man.
Exactly. Good job, Josh. Appreciate that.
we're trying. We're keeping this on course. So no, it's a great weekend here, and yeah, we get ready to head to PRI as we lean into this. So
Yeah.
that'll be the next stop for both Jonathan and myself.
That's cool. Jonathan, let's start with you a little bit
Yeah.
in terms of wrapping up another wow, amazing season of Whelen MX-5 Cup racing yet again. It comes down to the last weekend, the last race, the last laps between five drivers to decide who was gonna take home the cup. Your thoughts on what was a really intense and entertaining season?
Yeah, it was exactly that. Intense was probably a good description word every year, but this year, I say it every year. It's like you couldn't write a better script for how we see our season sort of culminate at or start at Daytona and culminate and end at Road Atlanta, the championship rounds. Since we've introduced the ND in 2016, it's literally gone down to the last rounds of the championship to determine who our champion is. So no different this year. It came down to a battle between essentially 1, 2, and 3 overall, were battles in and of themselves within a few different racers. But it came down to Gresham, Wagner, and Jared Thomas. Gresham with one championship under his belt and fighting for a second to match Jared, who was already a two-time, two-in-a-row champion, almost pulling a three-peat or running for the three-peat, and came down to Gresham really just taking really the last four events of the season, went on just an absolute run and finished strong at Road Atlanta to take the championship. And so now we've got a tie and two championships for Gresham, two for Jared. I keep poking him a little bit, asking, so Gresham coming back right to run for that third, because now we've got to have somebody who's running a historical third championship in a row, which up to date, just having a back-to-back champion is amazing. So to talk about having three, the racing is so close that a third in a row or three championships in MX-5 Cup is hard to believe, but we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. Tremendous talent all the way through the field though in 2024. We had a rookie of the year in Weston Workman who did a phenomenal job as a rookie. He came out at the beginning of the year sort of stamping his claim, saying he wants to be the first racer to be not just rookie of the year, but a champion in and of himself. He got pretty close. I mean, ran top
Yeah.
fives pretty much all season long, got on the
Yep.
top step of the podium quite a few times. So really blue skies ahead for him in 2025. Excited to see what he's going to do with an MX-5 Cup for next year. But 24, just again, you can't write the script. Every year I just walk away astonished at the racing, obviously, just razor edge and always exciting, but the community that we've been able to produce with the teams that are there, top tier teams, our teams have really just taken the challenge to, take it to the next level and move forward every year with improvements on just setup and operation and the way that they have brand consistency and really possess a uniqueness of their own across the paddock. They've done a phenomenal job with that, and just the way that we sort of carry ourselves in a large community of motorsports that really does feel like a family across the entire IMSA paddocks. but looking at us really feels like a special place. And we'd like to, convince ourselves and really convey to others those values that we hold strong. And our paddock really speaks for itself. It's a special place, and always hard to watch us walk away from Road Atlanta, but I'm super excited for 2025 coming right up in the next handful of weeks. As we all know, short off season.
Not too far away. And I think
Yeah.
Gresham is getting the privilege of driving out there with you this weekend, is he not?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was something that we really looked at for 2024 with the Heritage Collection of what can we do special to continue to improve things there and just add to the fanfare and the opportunities for our racers. So we introduced Jared Thomas as our champion at the moment at Reunion in August as the third driver for the RX-7 GTO. Absolute cherished moment on his end. He walked away just with a permanent smile on his face, and we felt really good about him actually winning a couple of those races for us. So it was fun to watch him. Naturally so, Gresham wins the championship, so we asked him to come out and hang out with us, and now he's running the RX-7 GTO as well, and having fun so far. He's only been in one session so far. We've got another one this afternoon, and then two more tomorrow, and two on Saturday. So he'll have some fun. We're telling him, be careful, be cautious, Gresham. We know you like to run on rails, but we'll keep that prized possession safe. So
yeah, no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
He knows it. So
yeah,
it's good. It's been fun.
Josh, on your end, talking about doing all the hard work, Mazda has, these great motorsports programs, and a big part of that is the support that Mazda gives. I think that maybe is one of the foundation reasons, correct me if I'm wrong, about why Mazdas are so popular for grassroots racers, for up and coming amateur racers and beyond, to get out there and compete week in and week out. Tell us a little bit about the support that Mazda offers racers across the board who want to get out there and drive.
Absolutely. We believe in supporting our racers from top to bottom. Our team support program is very unique within this industry. Is we sell parts direct to our racers, whether you're a pro racer, all the way down to grassroots motorsports, and even down to as far as like track day and autocross participants that are just getting started out. We believe that reducing that barrier to entry, not only from cost, but a knowledge barrier, really helps incentivize people to step into the sport. We all know this sport's, tough to get into, even just to find your way, find your path. You were talking to Leger and Mo earlier, and that's a path with open wheel, and we're more the sports car path. And we do things very similarly through two parts groups. So part support, technical support, and contingency. We feel that is the trifecta of how we keep people racing in Mazdas, and why you see they're so popular across the board.
And is it, I mean, obviously there are hard parts, right, that you guys sell and offer, but what about like things like tech support or any of that other stuff there? What can racers lean on you a little bit for that as well?
Absolutely. We offer not only just the racers, but the shops that help prep them. Our 800 parts hotline is also technical support. We offer, like factory wiring diagrams, factory workshop manuals. Myself and the other Jonathan in the department are the technical leads of the department as well. So we help with race car diagnostics and some of the R&D work. Just generally think of it like dealer assistance group would have at your local dealer. They have somebody they can call and lean on when they're stumped. We offer a very similar service to our racers for that reason.
Yeah. Where do people who are interested go to get involved, get signed up, get registered, whatever it is that they need to do to participate?
Super simple. MazdaMotorsports.com. The homepage has a get started button. Think of it the equivalent of making an Amazon account. Yeah, you have to have an account set up with us to be able to purchase parts from us. Same thing. Basic information, personal identifiable information, credit card, shipping address, things like that. And then at the bottom of the page is the 800 number that we staff 5 days a week, basically 9 to 5 Eastern Standard, with maybe some extended hours during race seasons that we cover. But super simple to get started. We just require some simple proof that you use a Mazda on track is the easiest way to put it for this conversation.
Whether that's an early 90s Miata, are they good to go?
Absolutely. We support all the way back to early RX-7s, all the way to the current MX-5 Cup car. I myself have an FD, so I totally understand trying to find old parts for old RX-7s myself. But yeah, we as long as we can still get our hands on it from the OE side of things, which Japan is very supportive of that and keeping a lot of these old parts running. You know, as an OE parts group, to be able to supply parts for 35-year-old cars is truly amazing, to be honest.
You know, totally random question, but do you guys remember the all-wheel drive 323 from mid 80s?
Absolutely. In fact, James in our department has one still.
No kidding.
That's right.
So
I was wondering how many
we
of those
still
are
have-
around? Because were those actually, those had to be gray market into the US, the all-wheel drive one. I know the front wheel, I had one for a while. I inherited from my mom a front wheel drive 323,
Nice.
which I drove like it was a rally car and it was a hoot. But were the all-wheel drive ones, were they gray market, or could you actually buy one through a Mazda?
I'm pretty sure they got rebadged as the GTX, and they could,
Yes.
and that was how they brought in that extra model over. And I think that's exactly what James has. He loves that thing. So yeah, blast from the past for sure. That car may be hard to find some parts for, but I'm sure we still got something. We'll put James on it.
Better believe it.
Right.
James will find it. But
Yeah.
George, you talk about, Josh referring to how much we do support our racers. We're always trying to find more touch points for customer service and customer experience. And one thing that I would be remiss if I didn't mention it is we really are looking at the evolution of our parts department and how we can continue to evolve and improve our customer experience. So we are right now going through the process of a revamp of our parts website, which is going to be very transformational for not only us and ease of use and usability and management on the back end with Scott Kaluza, one of our other teammates who runs our parts department, but particular for the customer, for our racer. It's going to make it so much easier for them to be able to find their parts, to understand what they're looking at in terms of CAD drawings and point of reference, and really even suggestions on, you're looking for one particular part, a suggestion on how we can actually help you look for maybe other areas of the car and parts that you might not even thought you needed. So we're going through that transformation right now and looking for probably a first quarter of the 2025 calendar year to be able, if not maybe early second quarter. That's probably a little ambitious, Josh, isn't it? But
Yeah, I think we're realistically second quarter.
Yeah, probably an early second quarter, but really excited about rolling that out. And I think our racers, our prep shops, our teams, and those that are under our Mazda team support program are really going to benefit from that. So it's going to be exciting times.
Cool. Good news.
Yeah.
Jonathan, changing gears a little bit here. After the MX-5 Cup season wrapped, you had a one-off, very special event at Martinsville, running on an oval, supporting was it a Wayland Series event, right?
Yeah, modified. Yep.
The weekend before the big Cup race there. Now that it's done and dusted, thoughts and learnings and just generally, how did the whole thing go?
Yeah, I honestly use a wordplay here with done and dust. I don't even think it's dusted yet, because we've had we've literally had so much buzz from that event. We knew there was something there. There was something special about an opportunity to get onto Martinsville, run the half-mile oval with MX-5 Cup cars, showcase what we can do not only on a road course but on the oval, and do it in a special way. So hence the reason why we pursued and executed. But the feedback and the engagement from our racers and even new fan audience has been phenomenal. Our live stream, last time I looked at the Martinsville MX-5 Cup live stream on the IMSA YouTube page, it was over 85,000 views, which is a strong showing for compared to some of our other races and even other IMSA race series in their portfolio. So it's exciting to see that, and that just shows me that there was already a demand that was generated, but clearly the product and the quality and the concept is something that we should continue to try to look to for the future. So that's absolutely, I couldn't be more excited and thankful for the work that, Martinsville Speedway, Clay Campbell and his team, Karen Parker and the rest of the folks there that really sort of bent over backwards to make this happen. They did a phenomenal job with just being hospitable and letting us kind of come in onto their territory, run a weekend that they're traditionally known for running just modifieds or even the NASCAR weekend, and really be special guests. And we felt special. So appreciate them for that. And then IMSA and NASCAR leadership that really sort of stepped in and pledged to support this, and not just sort of open up the gates for us to get to Martinsville, but really promote it, support it, provide operations staff, and really get behind it to get us to a point where we're actually executing seamlessly. So all parties involved, I think, are all saying the same thing, that we really need to look at what 25 looks like and make it happen again. Martinsville Speedway seems to be definitely the promoter's choice, if you will. And we would love to go back. And right now, it just kind of depends on timing, getting in front of the season here with us with MX-5 Cup Championship, but then really looking at schedule and how that all plays out, and getting the group back together in terms of the leadership team, and defining what that looks like to continue to improve, because that's what we're always looking for. And from the beginning, as you and I talked about in the early seasons about why Martinsville, obviously the entertainment factor, and there's a value there that showcases our cars and our platform and the diversity of that platform. But there's a larger strategic vision there to showcase, our series, our platform certainly, and our racers, but the collective band of our series, and defining who we are and how we can intersect between stock car racing and sports car racing. So I think that's really at the heart of, and the crux of what we're trying to do, is showcase the product, and that how valuable it is to maybe start an MX-5 Cup, or give MX-5 Cup an opportunity to groom, to develop, to grow, and then find whatever choice or path that is. And I believe that we've started that with the kickoff of this year's Martinsville. So I'm excited to see in 25 how we improve, how we continue to showcase that strategic vision, and really move to just further entertainment for our fans. So it's going to be a good.
Martinsville's a great configuration as well for the characteristics of the MX-5
Yes.
Cup car.
Yeah, there's other ovals that we would love to get to. A Bristol really comes to mind, but in terms of track elevation and configure, it's probably going to be hard to do that. But Martinsville is just a perfect. After watching the race, and we saw the tests, we knew what we were capable of, and we were going to put on a good show. But actually seeing the final result with the battle between, really battles across the entire field, but the battle at the end between Weston and Jared Thomas, I knew we were validated when they went lap for lap, door for door, mirror for mirror, and I looked down into the grandstands from race control, and the entire fans grandstands were standing up cheering. I knew we were in, and we had been validated at that point. So I think that's Martinsville is for us, and we definitely want to come back, just based on what we saw and how rewarding it was. So yeah, good stuff.
From off the back of that, if you go back a ways to the earliest days of MX-5 Cup, and you looked at the field, one of the things we've sort of remarked on is the kind of the transformation from years ago. There were a lot of middle-aged, guys who were top amateur racers, but middle-aged guys, and the young guns were few and far between. And now you look at the current entry list, and it's 180 degrees, right? It's all young guns and a couple of white-haired guys in there for giggles, right? So and when we look at this Martinsville thing, one of the things that has come out of it, I think, is just how the evolution of MX-5 Cup as an interdisciplinary jump-off point for those young drivers. Is it the series that could be the place where you want to go road racing? We got, it works for you. Maybe you want to go NASCAR route with a road racing emphasis a little bit. There's also a pathway for you here. And vice versa, people who are coming out of the NASCAR circle track thing, because I think NASCAR is increasing that balance of road racing courses.
Absolutely.
Look at the number that has gone up. They're going to need drivers who have real road racing skills. And so now you've got some guys that are coming out of like the Wayland Modified Series as an example, who say, hey, I want to go to NASCAR Cup, but there's road courses. I got to learn how to drive a road course. Maybe an MX-5 Cup car is the place for me to do that.
It's spot on. That's exactly sort of that strategic vision where that came from, is looking at our overall field. And I think there's been not a massive change. That you've seen it over the decades where, drivers, they're optimistic. They try to do as much as they possibly can. But I have seen a trend with drivers in the last several years, 5 years, call it, since, post-COVID, or 4 years, is these younger drivers are coming in, and they're not necessarily, fixated on one particular path. They want to really try to explore and look at how they broaden their skill sets, and whatever opportunities come along the way, they're going to pick off. So
Sure.
with that trend and with where we're at as a series as well as, we are, Josh and I and the rest of the team, we're continuing to look at what's next for us and what's that next level. As I sit here and look at our prototype, our GTP and GTO class cars out here from the 80s and 90s, it's amazing, but it's also bittersweet knowing that those are opportunities for us to continue to try to bring that style and that level of prototype or that level of sports car racing back. Our global president Morrison always says it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I love that because that just is a wishful thinking and really gives us the ability to dream as a group and as a brand and look at what is next. But along the way, we still have to stay true and authentic to ourselves and look at being as flexible and bringing in as much participation as possible and really complementing already existing framework of motorsports, particularly as you had mentioned with stock car and sports car racing. So I think that that model absolutely complements where we are at today with MX-5 Cup and even in our grassroots levels. I'd love Josh to talk a little bit about the evolution of Spec Miata and Spec MX-5, those particular programs, because honestly, from a pro level, everybody sees MX-5 Cup, but our model is actually flipped upside down over the last few years to where we were once a pyramid looking at grassroots on a baseline, MX-5 as a mid-tier, and then what's next at those times with prototype. We've flipped that upside down and we really look at it as a funnel of we believe in our grassroots racing. That is our authentic self. We are supporting our racers through and through there, and we will continue to do that. So how do we start the development process there and move them into new programs and classes to get to MX-5 Cup? And then eventually what's next? So I don't know if Josh wants to elaborate a little bit there. But
100%, because you beat me to the punch there, Jonathan, because I was going to go back to you, Josh, and say, Noah Harmon, who's your most recent scholarship winner, has got his start in Spec Miata, and then he did Spec MX-5. And so, that is, to Jonathan's point, it is something that maybe isn't as well known across the broader industry of where the Mazda Motorsports pyramid exists. So to tell us a little bit about those two layers of the onion.
Well, and there's even like kind of a preemptive layer to that too, that we've targeted and done the same thing that like the open wheel avenues have done in the past couple of years. We're looking directly at karting organizations and going, well, when you age out of karting, so to speak, where do you transfer to? What is your next ambition? What's your next step? And we're really pushing them and showing them the path to sports cars is, through the Spec MX-5 program, potentially up into Cup, and then, beyond there is your jumping pad into pro racing. So we've partnered with Stars Karting Championship for that exact reason, and we pull their championship winners from two of their major classes are automatic bids into our Spec MX-5 program for the scholarship and the shootout. We saw a couple of them this year come in, and you're right. Noah Harmon's a great case example of this. Came into Spec Miata, ran Spec Miata a couple of years, ran basically 2 years of Spec MX-5, showed really well at the runoffs in both classes doing dual duty. Got his second invite back to the shootout and really knocked it out of the park. Came back and just absolutely performed across the board. That's how we curate our programs, and what we look at is we're feeding from the grassroots side and karters, and for the ones that have the ambition to go pro racing, they filter through those programs at their own accord and get eligibility through the Mazda scholarship program. So that's really how we differ from basically other OEs in this atmosphere is we have that large grassroots attendance to draw from, which is something that's very unique to Mazda.
100%. You're talking to Noah a couple of weeks ago, something that I didn't know that he told me, and I think it's a great point to stress to all young racers out there, was Noah has never done a complete season in any championships since he left karting. So he's only, picked and chosen various events that he can do, but it just goes to show you just because you're not running a full season at wherever you're running doesn't mean that you have no opportunity. I mean, he took races and he's racing as much as he can, where and when he can, and then he went to the scholarship and boom, nailed it. And now he's got, for the first time in his life, a full season of racing coming up.
He was very wise in being choosy of the events that not only he could do, but that he could afford to do to put a season together, right?
Yeah.
Because as we know, grassroots racers have varying budgets, and he was very selective and chose it wisely. He also took advantage of what he could maximize and tried out the Cup car prior to the shootout, which we encourage people to do as well. So he was very smart about how he not only spent his money but dedicated his time towards the two car disciplines in the season to make sure he maximized his efforts to be on our radar. And he reached out and he was very vocal, and he's great to work with. Those are the reasons that he is our scholarship recipient this year, or one of them.
Yeah, and to that point also is that just show his unique path is one of many unique paths, and that's where we're always looking at. There's not one carved out, crystallized path for a grassroots racer to the shootout and then on to MX-5 Cup. We're looking across the board at those particular examples of how Josh just mentioned, of just having that pursuit and that thoughtfulness to keeping in touch with us, but also doing the right things along the way to succeed in micropods or however you see success, and then moving into those next opportunities. So he's a perfect example of that.
Nice. Well, guys, we could keep going forever, but our time has come to an end.
Well,
Appreciate it.
Shame, that was a quick one. I appreciate the time.
The timekeepers are here.
Thank you, Francis.
Thank you,
and
Josh.
Judy. It's been great.
EPARTRADE is a digital platform that we've created basically to make life easier in the business community of auto racing.
EPARTRADE, there is no e-commerce. It's literally a connection just like at a trade show. So now, any time of the year, a buyer could reach out to a supplier.
When you see a product that you're interested in, all you need to do is click on request more information, and then from there it is forwarded directly to the buyer or to the supplier.
EPARTRADE really eliminates having to travel, closing down your shop. Now you have a place to showcase globally your racing product and technology.
Looking for a quick fix of motorsports news? The Speed Sport Daily is what you need. It's a free racing newsletter delivered directly to your email every day. We'll cover the winners and the losers and tell you who's making news off the track. It's NASCAR, NHRA, World of Outlaw, IndyCar, and so much more. Go to speedsport.com today and get signed up for America's free racing newsletter and get your daily motorsports fix. The Speed Sport Daily.
Land speed record holder George Poteet's Speed Demon rocketed 481 miles per hour at the Bonneville Salt Flats. You don't go that fast without ARP fasteners.
There is no way that we could go the speed that we've gone, the number of times we've gone, with a lesser quality bolt than ARP supplies to us. And we absolutely wouldn't be where we were today if it weren't for ARP.
When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
We're Performance Plus Global Logistics. Our team of dedicated performance industry and logistics experts get valuable cars and components to the track on time in top condition. We provide expedited logistics solutions for the performance industry using direct routes instead of deferred options, and communicate all necessary information to the appropriate resources to meet regulations and ensure a smooth transit and secure delivery, both domestically and internationally. And we exceed customer expectations by providing best-in-class service with an efficient and cost-effective system in place. Contact us today to book your next shipment.
Scott Lewis & Associates, the sales, marketing, and branding specialist for the automotive performance industry since 1988. We get our manufacturers on track by opening an extensive distribution network, providing product training to sales staff, creating fully integrated sales and marketing strategies, building successful industry partnerships, attending trade shows, events, and races, offering first-class support to customers. SLAI delivers solutions that win you sales. To get in touch with an SLAI representative, call 516-378-6100. Go to scottlewisinc.com or email info@scottlewisinc.com.
With roots in the Midwest that date back well before the Model T, Fifth Third Bank has a long history of serving the needs of automotive companies. While much has changed over the years, our passion for helping businesses put cars on the road and on the track has not. Today, we are more committed than ever as a member of SEMA, a founding member of PRI, and a sponsor of multiple race teams across several racing series.
For over a decade, Fifth Third Bank has been a staunch supporter of our industry and a great partner for many companies in the motorsports field.
Our business has been growing extremely fast, and really we could not be where we are today without Fifth Third. They provided amazing strategic advice, the capital we need to support our phases of growth.
They are true partners for me now, and what they do with their involvement in motorsports is untouched in this community.
Where can we take your business? Fifth Third Bank.
You work as hard as your truck, and you have no time for downtime. That's why more truck owners trust Blue Def, America's #1 diesel exhaust fluid brand. Each batch is guaranteed pure, so you can avoid costly repairs caused by inferior DEF. Demand America's best for your truck. Blue Def and Blue Def Platinum. Put trust in your truck.
When it comes to pushing the limits of performance, the pros know there's no room for compromise. At Crower Cams, we don't just engineer camshafts and valve train components, we redefine what power means. Since 1955, Crower Cams has been the name trusted by racers, engine builders, and gearheads around the globe. Whether you're building a street machine, a dragster, or a track car, Crower Cams provides the muscle you need to dominate. And with Crower, victory is within your reach.
For over 25 years, Wisconsin-based CTech Manufacturing has been engineering and manufacturing the toughest, most accessible aluminum tool drawers, cabinets, carts, and tactical storage solutions for America's hardest working professionals. Whatever you need to store and however you need to store it, put your trust in CTech Manufacturing. We build it better. Visit our new website at ctechmanufacturing.com or give us a call at 715-355-8842.
If you're watching this video, you might be wondering, what is WPC? WPC is a surface treatment designed to reduce friction and increase the strength of metal parts. As much as it might seem like a coating, WPC is actually a surface treatment. Think of it like shot painting, but the media is much finer, like talc. So what you're left with is a super hard, smooth surface that actually has some proprietary dry lubricants embedded within it. For more information, visit WPCtreatment.com.